Hi everybody, Dugraz here with Dugraz Reports. I had mentioned in my last video I signed up for the US Bank Altitude Reserve, and I've had it for about 15 days now. It's upside down. I've had it for about 15, 20 days now, and I've already got a lot of value out of it. I'd like to take a moment to talk about what attracted me to the US Bank Altitude Reserve credit card. Website here, it says, we built a better premium travel card. Well, better depends who you ask. Premium depends who you ask. And I really think the suitability of this card depends on who you are. For some people, it's a great card. For others, not so much. I'll talk about myself very briefly. I have a regular job, a 9-to-5 job. My schedule's not that flexible. So while I want to travel some, my travel is limited. I can't do gigantic aspirational trips most of the time. I have a family, and if I'm traveling a couple times a year, I'm taking them with me. And I'm probably not going to, St. Bart or the Bahamas or Japan. I'm probably going to like the Grand Canyon or Mount Rushmore or a cabin in Missouri or something like that. So my goal is for the travel I was going to do anyway with my family and maybe a few independent weekend trips on my own to be something that I was going to pay for, that the card will now pay for me. That's my goal. So I think for someone like me and a traveler who's kind of intermittent, I think this card is a great fit. So let's scroll up just a little bit and first address the elephant in the room. You'll see right here it says there's a $400 annual fee and $75 for each additional card. Additional card just means if you add an authorized user. So generally I wouldn't do that. $400 annual fee sounds really big, but let's scroll down and look. Here it says up to a $325 annual statement credit or credits for travel. So if you travel, airline, motel, Uber, cruise, anything like that, take Amtrak, you're going to get that credited back every year up to $325, which, again, remember what I just said. I'm planning to travel some anyway, so I should have no problem getting that $325 credit. So effectively, my annual fee will be $75 a year. No point in adding an authorized user because I'm going to use it with a cell phone and a mobile wallet, and if I want my wife to use it, I'll just have her put it on her phone as well in that regard. So we got that out of the way. Let's take a look at these benefits that are listed here. It mentions 5x points on prepaid hotels and car rentals through their reward center. I'm not even going to talk about that benefit because I don't think it's that amazing with some inflation in the travel portal possible. I'll maybe do a video on that later, but that wasn't even a benefit when I signed up 20 days ago. So 3x points on net travel purchases and mobile wallet spending, and this is where it earns its keep, where it becomes a workhorse. So travel's obvious, flights, hotels, rental cars, etc. The mobile wallet, I have found there's a ton of places I can use a mobile wallet. Now, just to clarify, my cell phone is just a plain old iPhone SE. It's about the oldest phone you can get that has Apple Pay. And you'll see I've got the Altitude Reserve down here at the bottom. It's my default mobile wallet payment card. And I'm kind of new to mobile wallet. I basically started using it right before I got this card to see how it worked. And since I've started using it, I found a ton of places to use it. There are gas stations that have a phone contactless thing right on the gas pump you can use it on. If not, almost every gas station I've been to in the last 20 days has Apple Pay on the inside. There's a ton of restaurants, fast food places that take it, those kind of things. CVS Pharmacy, Walgreens Pharmacy, and there's probably more that I'm not even thinking of right now. And again, maybe some other video I'll go into that. But I'm pulling down 3x in a lot of places that I spend a lot of normal money on. So then the other thing that I'd like to mention is down here, it talks about some of the other benefits. And one of them is, it says protection home and away. It doesn't explicitly state this, but this is one of the few credit cards that gives primary car rental insurance. So if you rent a car on this card and you're in a collision or a comprehensive type situation, meaning like you hit a deer or something, or you're parked and a telephone pole falls on your car, you don't have to pay anything. You don't even have to file with your own insurance company. It's covered. And we've had a couple minor fender benders in our household in the last couple months. Nothing serious, but I'm really not wanting to deal with insurance. So to me, that's a big deal. My plan before I got this card and also the Chase Sapphire Preferred, which has primary car rental coverage, was if I had rented a car, I would have used my one American Express card, paid the extra $25 for their enhanced coverage. So given that I probably would have been doing that at least once a year, I feel like that benefit alone is worth an easy $25 to have primary rental coverage. So you don't have to take that into consideration, but in my mind, I think of that as a benefit that would cost $25 a year at least. So the real effective annual fee is about $50 based on the value. So it's not too hard to make up for that. To be a little more specific, down here in the bottom left corner, it'll say redeem rewards instantly with real-time rewards. It doesn't talk about that very much anywhere on their website. You have to kind of go other places to find information or wait until you get the card. But one that's really good is this frequent miler post, US Bank real-time mobile rewards, what works where. Now, just to clarify, recently the US Bank Flex Perks card and the US Bank Flex Perks Gold card had their real-time rewards reduced in value because those cards are going to be going away soon is the rumor. I think it's a pretty accurate rumor. But this has not affected the Altitude Reserve, at least as of now. But basically the idea is if you set up your real-time mobile rewards, what they will do is when you buy something, they'll send you a text message and you can pay for it with points that way. So if you do that in the travel category, it's a 1.5 modifier. So in other words, that 3% on travel and 3% on mobile wallet effectively becomes 4.5%. And you'll get a text message after you make the purchase and you just reply back to them and it takes points away with that modifier of your points being worth 1.5 towards travel as long as you have enough points. I haven't used that yet, but what I would recommend doing is go to this frequent miler post, and there's a whole bunch of posts about what works and what doesn't. Kind of the main pattern is domestic US-based companies work and foreign generally doesn't. That's just sort of a rough way of describing it. Now, there is a minimum threshold. I believe rental cards have to be at least $250 and motels have to be at least $500, which is kind of a bummer. Airlines, you don't have to have anything in general though. But so if you want to, just play the field and pick whatever airline you want, as long as it's domestic, that should work fine. And also you get to double dip on those. What I mean by that is, let's say you save up 10,000 points, you're going to use it on something. If you go to a credit card portal, like the Chase portal, the American Express portal, or in this case, the US Bank portal, and buy through there, you don't get points on those purchases. With the real-time rewards, you can not only get the purchase and get your 3%, you can also use the real-time rewards. So you're kind of double dipping in that sense. So that's a thing that attracted me. But again, the main thing that attracted me was the ability to play the field and basically pick any type of domestic travel situation I want to use my rewards on. I don't have to worry about transfer partners. So like if I want to fly on Frontier or if I want to fly on Allegiant, even though those are really low-level budget airlines where I'm, in some cases paying less than $100 per ticket, I can do that. Now, there might be some limitations, and I'll have to do some experimentation. The second reason was the primary car rental insurance. Now, there are a few other perks we'll just touch on briefly. Here it says complimentary Wi-Fi. You get 12 complimentary GoGo in-flight Wi-Fi passes a year. I have used one of those already, and it was kind of nice to have. It was about a 3-hour flight. One drawback is I have a Google Chromebook, which GoGo doesn't work with, but on my phone, the in-flight did work, and I was able to take advantage of that. It does talk about Priority Pass lounge access, 12 lounge access visits. I believe, if I remember correctly, you get 4 visits for yourself, and you can pair that up with 8 visits for a guest. So basically, you and 2 guests can go 4 times is the way that it works out. 3 people, 4 times, that's 12 visits. Now, some people might be like, oh, that's so limiting. Well, you know what? I only fly a couple times a year, so that's all I'm going to use it anyway. And the two airports that I use the most are Des Moines, Iowa, and Phoenix, Arizona, and neither of those even have a Priority Pass lounge. So it's not that big of a deal. The airport I'm third most likely to use is Chicago O'Hare, which only has Priority Pass in its international terminal. And I would mostly be in the domestic terminal anyway, and I'm not going to ride a bus over to another terminal just to go see the lounge, unless it's like a 6-hour layover that I might. You'll notice it talks about TSA PreCheck or global entry. I've never had that before. I do plan on using it. As long as it's a benefit, I might as well. Do I value it? Well, if you'd asked me before I flew 2 weeks ago, I would have said, nah, it's really not something I'd value. I now remember how much I hate going through security at TSA. So even little things like not having to take my computer or my liquids out of my bag might be worth it. So I'm planning on doing that. The next few really wouldn't mean anything to me. So there's not a lot here. Now, one it doesn't mention is there is a benefit that there's like 3 different car rental companies. I believe it's National, Avis, and one other I'm not thinking of, where they will automatically give you a status upgrade. When I traveled last, I used Avis. So I got a free upgrade on my car. I paid for a full-size car, and I got an SUV, which actually ended up being really nice. So that was just kind of a perk. Don't know if I would put a lot of value on it, maybe $10 a year for that. But something worth mentioning. So I'll wrap it up real quickly here, but if I'm doing the math, so let's say you value those credits not at all other than the travel ones. So you're going with a $75 annual fee. If you divide that by 4.5%, which is effectively what you're pulling down, you would need to spend $1,667 a year to hit your break-even point. If you value that primary car rental insurance coverage at $25, so now we're talking a $50 net effective annual fee, then you would need to pull down $1,111 of annual spending to hit the break-even point. And I will acknowledge something opportunity cost. I'm aware you should be comparing it to like a 2% cash back card or something, but I don't really feel like doing that right now. So yeah, if you think this kind of video is helpful, please click the thumbs up button. If you think it's no good, click the thumbs down button, because hey, at least that's interaction. Subscribe to the channel if you want me to talk more about the US Bank Altitude Reserve. I plan on doing at least 2 more videos, one where I go into a little bit of detail about like the places that take the Apple Pay, since that's how I'm using it in the mobile wallet. And then another one that'll be a little more of like a once I start redeeming it, how it's going type thing. So safe travels to everyone, and please put a comment down below letting me know what you think. Thanks for watching.